But just because the door has been closed doesn't mean it's going to stay closed. God told Joshua, it's time to possess the land. He was saying, Joshua, I know the door has been shut. I haven't allowed you to go in. The obstacles were too big, but this is a new season. I'm going to open this door so you can enter the promised land. Doors that have been closed a long time for you are about to open. David said in Psalm 24, open up ancient gates and the King of glory will come in. Ancient gates means things that have been shut for years. Doors that have been closed in your family line for generations. Things you've been shut out of. Dealing with addictions, depression, low self-esteem, mediocrity. Those ancient gates are about to open up.
More people are going to make more money in the next few years than have been made in all of human history. In the year 1900, there were 5,000 millionaires in America. In the year 2000, there were 5 million millionaires. That's an increase of 1,000 times. Now, there was a leveling off in 2001, 2002. In the last 2 years, the number of millionaires has jumped 33%. It's jumped to 8.2 million millionaires in America, and virtually all of them are self-made, which means they started without a pot to you-know-what in or a window to throw it out of. And they've made it in one generation. When we look at the wealthiest people in America today, Warren Buffett, Michael Dell, of course, Bill Gates, Paul Allen, and the Walton family, all first-generation multi-billionaires. We have a $12 trillion economy today that is growing at the rate of $500 to $600 billion a year, and all that money is going through somebody's fingers, and your job is to make sure it goes through yours and some of it sticks. Is that a good goal for today? And my job is to show you how to do it. The good news is that all the answers have been found. Self-made millionaires have been studied exhaustively, they've been analyzed, they've been interviewed by the hundreds of thousands and millions, and what we know is exactly who they are and what they do and how they think and how they tick and the decisions they make and the things that they do and they don't do. And the wonderful thing is this, if you do what other successful people do, you eventually get the same result that they do.
It was a very, very difficult time. I was a child that was born to two wounded parents, and they were wounded children themselves. My mother was 17 and my father was about 19 when they got married, and I came along when she was 24 years old. And there was a lot of pain in the house, there were a lot of arguments. He was very physically abusive and verbally abusive to the both of us. It was really a difficult and very hard time, especially for a man-child. I don't know what it's like for a little girl, but I'm sure it's just as painful. But for a boy-child, a man-child, to watch his mother being beaten and belittled, it was really, really hard. So I went under the house and I built this little, put some wood up in between some of the pillars and built this little safe place for me. And I painted it robin egg blue. I had found some paint somewhere, painted it blue, and I would sit in this room and I would let my imagination take me to other places. I would just be somewhere running through grass and trees while I'm listening to all of the pain and all of the heartache up above me in the floorboards. So it was a very difficult time, but the beauty in that moment, and I say this to people all the time, is that I know that all things work together for your good. When I am writing a script or a movie, or writing the Have and Have-Nots, or if Loving You Is Wrong, or writing any of these shows or movies, in my imagination, I go to a place where I'm in that world. And that was formed and born inside of all that pain. So the little boy's imagination is where the man goes now to feed his dreams. So it's a beautiful thing when you know that all things are going to work together for your good.
And when I was 11, I had a casting director tell me that I wasn't strong enough to carry my own show. And I'm sure all of you have been told that you don't have what it takes and that you may not be good enough and you don't have enough people supporting you, and you're being told all of these things when deep down it's all you want to do. You want to be a part of something great. You want to make something great. And it does more than knock the wind out of you. It crushes you when people try to tell you that you're not good enough. And it almost did for me, but there was my mom next to me, stronger than ever, and she said the most important thing is to always trust in myself. If I'm doing something because I love it, I should do it because I love it, and I believe I can do it.
Now some people say, well, I started off without any money and I don't have any money now. Well, join the crowd, nobody's got any money. Most people are broke up into their 40s and 50s. So if you're broke today, you're just one of the gang. The only question is, do you stay there? And the answer is no. Now, when I started off in this many years ago, I came from very poor beginnings. I did not graduate from high school. I finished in the half of the class that makes the top half possible. When I left school, I dropped out of high school. I could only get laboring jobs. I was told, by the way, if you don't get a good education, you won't do well in life. Don't get good grades, you won't get a good job. Don't go to college, you won't do well, and so on. And I believed that for a long time until I found there's hundreds of thousands, millions of people who dropped out of high school who went on to become millionaires and billionaires as well. The reason I say that to you, by the way, is don't let it hold you back. Don't let any experience that you've ever had in your life act as a brake on your potential, because there's hundreds of thousands of people who've had it worse than you could ever dream of, who've gone on to accomplish wonderful things.
2 years later, I got my own show, and the first thought wasn't, oh man, that girl when I was 11 said I wouldn't carry my own show, and I did. I mean, I thought about that for a little bit, but I thought about what my mom said. My mom was like, you have to trust yourself, and I realized if I didn't believe that I could do it, I wouldn't be able to be here. And I'm gonna say I live a very blessed life. I have so much to be thankful for, and a lot of you are a big part of inspiring me, because I don't think you get it, and maybe you're not told enough, but you inspire me to be better, and we should inspire each other to be better.
You're about to walk into your promised land, to blessings, freedom, wholeness, success. I can see chains breaking right now, deadbolts coming off, doors opening. You're coming out of generational curses, generational limitations, generational struggles into generational blessings. What's been stored up for your family is about to be released with you. What's been held back, what should have been yours, it's not lost, it's been accumulating. Ancient gates are going to open up. You couldn't make this happen. It's the King of Glory. It's the Most High God. It's your doorkeeper doing what only He can do. And here's the key. The doors that have been closed weren't closed by accident. God was getting you prepared for what's next. The scripture says He didn't take the Israelites the shortest route to the promised land because they weren't ready for war. They would have been defeated by their enemies. That time you've been shut out, the door has been closed, was not wasted. God was doing a work in you, getting you stronger, making sure you could carry the weight of glory. You were faithful. You kept doing the right thing. You didn't complain when it wasn't fair. You didn't get bitter over who did you wrong. You passed the test. You proved to God that you would be faithful. Now you're going to come into favor, resources, opportunities. You're going to see what your parents and grandparents dreamed of. You're going to walk into the blessing that they prayed for. These ancient gates are about to open for you.
Gotten another job, because I had more jobs. Man, I had about 20 jobs during this time. I'd gotten another job, asked the boss, he said no. I heard the voice quit. I go out, do the show, and I'm driving there, and there's a hurricane headed toward Spartanburg. Hurricane. I'm like, now God, I know you control the wind and the waves, but you told me to quit, and now nobody's going to show up. So I lost everything. Homeless, sleeping in my car, following God. When you follow God, sometimes things get tough, they get tight. But if you keep pushing just on the other side, when you think it's the darkest, something miraculous will happen that will change your life. Something will open up that will blow your mind.